Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so you hit the link at the bottom and hit copy. Then you have to accept it, and then you have to go back to the home page. Stealth page, and paste in the YouTube place. Okay.
So, someone here's something about can watch the countdown clock to know when to go live.
You're already live.
Well, it looks like we're live, but what's really happening is this. This is the Howard Canaris talking with the PowerPoint thing around. So even though we think we're live and we look at that, this is what.
Do we have to launch the app over there?
Let's see what happens if you do that. Let's see if that did anything. Okay, so this shows when we actually go live. It's 11 minutes and 18 seconds. See that?
Okay.
So I think maybe we're set up.
Yeah. So when it does. So this is live on Google Hangouts, but no one from the webinar will see it until that 11 minutes is up, and it switches over to show this.
I see. So on Google, I don't really understand Google Hangouts. So if somebody had the link, they could be viewing something on Google Hangouts right now.
That's the idea. And the other thing, I was watching the setup instructions, that video that they had as well, and they were recommending, and this is something we need to communicate with Jason, they said that sometimes not everyone transfers over to the Hangout at the same time.
Oh.
So when that does count down to 0, or maybe right before, I don't remember exactly what, Jason should be saying, okay, we're switching over to the live version, and have a bunch of filler.
So some kind of intro kind of stuff.
So if the people happen to be there, they'll hear something that makes sense, and
if they're not there yet,
no one else misses out on that fluff.
Okay.
But I don't remember if that was right before the 11-minute countdown, or before it goes live.
Probably right when you go live. That's when you would say some of that fluff material to bring everybody in.
Yeah. So if I remember it, some people will switch over slightly before that, but by the countdown to 0, when that's finished, it will all be. Everyone will be watching it, but I could be wrong, and it could be slightly after. So it was one or the other.
So really, Jason can't straggle in here at the last minute. He's going to need to be in here 5 to 10 minutes prior to that going up, just in case.
Well, what they were saying is just a couple seconds before it goes live. So
yeah, he probably wants to be here a minute or so ahead of time.
Tell him 5 minets, and he'll be here on time. No,
so he doesn't have to really be in here for another 9 minutes and 39 seconds.
Yeah. Well, he should.
Well, it's going to take.
Yeah.
It's going to take coming in, setting it up.
Yeah.
It's going to take camera placement. He's going to need to sit. We're going to need to get it just right so that when it does go live, we don't look goofy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean the camera placement and everything else needs to be taken care of beforehand, and then he needs to start talking about things that. It doesn't matter if people miss maybe 10, 20 seconds before that goes to 0.
Right.
And then maybe a couple seconds past that just to be safe.
What might be really cool as a little bit of fluff, I know this sounds corny, but I think it'd be cool if we had a recent issue of like Floor Trends where he's kind of just sitting there with a Floor Trends magazine, and oh, I was just looking at our picture here when we did the NWFA installation thing. You know, we're going to be at Surfaces East. This is our business. Oh, hi everybody. You know, kind of leading into it that way.
Sure.
You know, kind of like a, who used to do that? You know, an old, I don't know. I've kind of seen it. Pardon how I've seen it, but you know, Saturday Night Live, they'll be kind of like sitting there, and you know, the audience kind of comes in, and they're like, oh, hi. You know, might work.
It might.
Well, it would be awareness, and I mean, each time it could be a different publication where we've had an article or, you know, something leading into what he's going to be talking about. It'd be a great lead-in.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be very good.
Or, if he doesn't want to do the fluff, then... So.
Yeah, so what they recommended was saying, okay, well now I'm switching over to our video portion of the webinar. I'm making these changes. We'll be getting into the questions shortly, you know, those purposes. But if we can put in an ad for our other things,
well, why not? I mean, can't we indicate that on the back end of that webinar in that the last final page right here that says, at the end of the webinar, we will be going to Google Live for any questions. Can we add that on there?
It says on here right now, it says, if you have any questions about the material you have viewed in today's presentation, please use the Q&A box to type in your questions. After the conclusion of the webinar, you may also call Mr. Jason Spangler.
So do we have any questions?
Well, wait a minute.
I'll write in a question right now.
Because Robin needs to know how to see those
Yeah,
questions.
I mean...
Because while Jason is sitting in that chair or whatever, you need to have another computer showing him what those questions are, right?
That's true, because they're going to be emailed to his email inbox. That's how he receives the questions. Yeah. So that's a little tricky.
Yeah.
Because people can be typing in questions while he's answering questions.
I don't like that system.
Yeah, we just try that.
His email inbox or Robin's?
It goes to Jason's, but we can set it up for anybody's email box. But I set it up for Jason.
Yeah.
Could you set up an independent email?
We could set up another email that you'd have to log into.
Wouldn't that be better for this as opposed to having it go to my Gmail? Because what if this person, whoever, gets set after the fact, sends an email, and I don't, you know, it would really be, I think, better if it had its own, you know, Wagner Meters webinar at gmail.com, you know.
Yeah.
So where does it?
It's presumably just sent Jason a question.
Okay, but where does it come up at though?
It goes to his email box. So he has to, right now the way it's set up, he has to actually look at his email to know what questions are coming in.
I think if we're going to continue using this process and just make it, you know, and expound on it as we go on, I think a separate email would probably be better.
Yeah. Well, for now, I think you have. They went to Jason's, I guess. So we're not.
Yeah, and we're not going to be able to verify without Jason.
Another thing I believe you've done in the past is have a list of seeded questions in case we don't get any. Is that the case?
No, basically what would happen is Jason would just kind of sit here and we hope you enjoyed the webinar. You know, as you know, it's the blue version, blah, blah. Let me give you a few things that are going on, this and that. And he'll probably do like a 5-minute dissertation. If nothing pops up, he'll go, well, I can see that there's no questions. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Blah, blah.
So he doesn't make up questions and answer them.
No.
He doesn't do it that way.
Okay.
He only takes actual live questions.
Well, and it just depends. I mean, sometimes you can get a whole flurry of questions,
Sure.
and then sometimes not. But if it's supposed to be a live Q&A, isn't it that people can actually talk into the computer and have an actual conversation? Isn't that?
No, it's not. It's not going to be a conversation like you and I are having a conversation right now. People have to type in their questions. That's the only way
Okay,
they'll
well
be
then
able to get
I
questions
guess
to
I'm
them.
not understanding where the camera and everything comes in. If it's only live on there, and
they'll
they
be
can
able to watch Jason.
see him, but we can't see them. Okay.
It creates a little bit of control at this end in terms of not having somebody ask a question using profanity or anything like that. You get to field whatever questions you want to field that come in.
Yeah. And if someone asks, why is the Raptor Edge such a horrible product, we can ignore the question. Okay, well, how close are we to time? It seems like
4 minutes.
seems like you'd want to have both of these windows up side by side. Do you know how to do that?
No.
Okay, so let me try it the easiest way. So I'm going to just click on this tab and pull it down to make it a separate window. See
Okay.
what I did there to start with? And then I'm just going to drag this one over to the right hand side of the screen. And you see how it's getting there.
Mhm.
Then go back and drag this one to the left hand side of the screen. And it'll do the same thing.
Thank you. I can use that back at my desk.
Also, you can press the Windows key and do, Windows to the left, or that, or to the right. So anyway, that
Thank you.
I would think would be great to be able to see
Yes.
2 minutes and also see what Jason looks like. So,
So do you have a Skype for Jason? Because I don't. Just see if he's coming.
Here, I'll page him. I can call him too.
I do not have a Skype for Jason apparently.
Hey, is our star in his office? Okay, well, can you tell the star of this webinar that we need his body here in the conference room? Oh yeah, tell him he needs to come to makeup. Needs to come to makeup. Makeup and hair. All right, bye. Oh, keep it light, keep it fun.
And I think at this point, if I'm understanding this correctly, even though Jason wouldn't be live at this point, we don't have to do anything now to make him live. It will just automatically switch over to this camera in another 2 minutes and 13 seconds. I think that's the way it works.
Yeah, I believe that is the case. If you Skype me, well, do we have a webinar URL? Maybe I should watch it from right here and make sure that all our assumptions are
Yeah, let me get
true.
that for you.
Okay.
Well, I'm watching it too.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
You're-
that's what that sound is.
Oh.
So this
okay,
is what's
that's right.
this is what's live right now.
Okay,
He's
so
just kind of doing a summary. He's summing up
Uh-huh.
here in the last couple minutes.
Yeah, 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Get here, Mr. Spangler.
Do you want to see if you can switch over that email to, well, let's see,
Yeah, if I
maybe to yours temporarily so we can see what it is, or
yeah, we could. Let's see. You have to log in.
if it's not going to make sense, that's fine, but it would be nice to test that beforehand as well.
Yeah, I sent an email just to see if Jason would receive that. I can now switch it over.
As of now, for fall of 2008, we've got 30 to 40 manufacturers who recognize.
I'm not going to be able to do that in the next 50 seconds, but
Yeah, that's okay.
we'll get it. Because I think,
You can ask
I think
questions
it's-
for as long as
yeah,
this is live.
this can go on for the next hour if we
Four,
wanted it to,
32.
until he clicks stop broadcast.
Live in 35 seconds.
Are you ready for hair and makeup, sir?
Yeah.
Here, let me help you. Here, let me give you the mat.
So Jason, how this works is the old presentation or the PowerPoint.
Just to make sure we're not. This is not. Nobody's here.
No.
Okay, all right. All right, go.
No, everybody's
This is a
here
test
when you-
only.
After we've given you the heart attack.
Yeah.
So the old webinar is finishing up right now, the videos and slides, and we'll be switching over to you in 5 seconds, and in 3 seconds people will be able to see you is the idea.
So it'll pop up on their screen after at like 3 seconds. So I
Yeah.
shouldn't be picking my nose at like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And
Probably wouldn't be a
actually,
good thing.
So you're on the
it does
air.
show that the thing went blank right
Went
now.
blank, okay.
So I'm not sure.
You are on the air. Do your attendees
Where's
can
the
now
camera?
see you and right there
Oh,
on the
okay.
chair
All right.
because we're Microsoft.
Okay, there we go.
Just to make sure we're not, this is nobody's here.
I'm gonna mute you in there. So
That
there's
was
not
quite a delay.
feedback. Yeah. So there can be.
So the first
significant
takeaway is,
delay.
let's make sure we don't have any volume on anywhere, because if I start hearing the delay like that, it's going to be like paging somebody.
Okay, I'm not sure how that's going to work in respects to hearing a question. Is that question going to come over
Well-
live, or is it all going to be email?
Well, if you're watching the webinar here as well, there will be that feedback loop, which normally Bob wouldn't be watching the webinar on his computer in here, I wouldn't think.
So I guess my question is, okay, we're all silent and it's all over. These questions are going to drop into his email, and then he's just going to come on just like this. We're not going to be able to hear any sound from anybody else. I'm not quite
no
sure.
sound from anyone else. You'll have a list of questions that Jason will need to read and answer.
Okay, how are we going to get the? Maybe you get. I'll
They're
show
in
that.
your email box. They come into you via email.
Okay, so
Yeah, but I wonder if we should set it up so that somebody else is in the room with email coming into that person's inbox.
So by default, people type in questions into the webinar screen, which you cannot see here. It says thank you for your question, and that question ends up in your inbox, as quickly as they send it. So it can be Jason's inbox, it can be Robin's inbox, it can be a third-party one that we set up just for this purpose. And then we need to have a laptop in here that, from what has been explained to me before, you, Robin, would be selecting the appropriate questions while Jason is answering the last question. And then you point out, oh, here's the one you should talk to next. Is that the way you've done it before?
I think I don't need her to
Okay.
filter stuff for me.
Okay.
You sure?
I'm going to trade you in. No, because we typically don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes she'll have to point out, because the way that thing used to be, it would scroll only so far and you couldn't read the whole thing. So sometimes I had an issue finding it. But if they're coming in via email, if we have the one laptop, so as long as I have my laptop in here, or a laptop in here that's coming into my email box,
Okay.
then that should be fine.
Okay. I've been to webinars before where the person answering the questions has a laptop right there. It's very obvious they're reading off the screen. No problem there. So we can do that as long.
When you saw those, did you
I
take
thought it
anything
was-
negatively away from it?
No, I thought it was natural. I'm
Okay.
not sure if someone else would. One thing I was worried about there, if there's emails and you get 5 different emails, say, from 5 different people asking questions, it may take you time to click on an email, read it briefly, decide you don't want to answer that question, move on to the next one, read that. I just don't know how much delay will be there.
I don't think.
If you don't think that's going to be a problem, I'm fine.
I say the first run, I prefer not to.
Okay.
Let's give it a shot and see if it ends up being an issue. You might be right, but I think I should be able to read and answer and read at the same time.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to be a huge problem. If it is, then the next one we'll do it anyway.
Okay. Of course, you'll have to speak the question
Mhm.
so everyone can hear and then answer that.
Which is what we do now.
Okay, that is good.
And you'll need to come in at least 3 to 4 minutes prior to this going off so that we can get it set up depending on where we need that camera and all that.
Usually not.
Well, I've already got your lead in. You're okay. It's a great Johnny Carson moment, though.
So,
I'm gonna wear my orange golf pants tomorrow.
Are you really?
Yeah,
Cool.
just for this.
so one of the things they've told us, Stealth Seminar has told us, is this go live time is not necessarily when everyone arrives and starts seeing the video. So maybe 10 or 20 seconds beforehand, you may want to put fluff, or Robin has a few ideas about what you might want to say beforehand. They recommend, okay, I'm switching over the webinar to our question and answer section, all these things that will make sense to the people who happen to arrive at the video early,
Right.
but not necessarily something
Can
that
you give
anyone
you
would
any kind of
want.
window of delay?
It was a few seconds according to them, and maybe we need to go back and work it
So a
out.
few seconds either way.
Yeah,
So they could be, it could be earlier, it could be later.
yeah. So Bob, do you want to verify that if it was before or after primarily?
I'm just wondering, worst case scenario. I mean, do we need to start talking a minute earlier? Do we
No,
just-
no, it's just going to be a few seconds.
So.
Okay.
So yeah, a few seconds should be fine there. Let's see, what else?
I don't know, and then you have as long as you want to do this, Jason, or as short as you want to do it. So
Okay.
you're kind of in control of the timing of it once it goes live. So when you're done, then are you going to be in here the whole time, Robin? Is that how you're thinking this will work while Jason's doing his Q&A?
It would seem like you should.
Yeah.
Because you can just be the one that clicks stop broadcast. Because I think when he's done, he can just give you some kind of visual cue, and then you just click stop broadcast to end it. So that'll end it.
So you can also keep an eye on the attendee list. If you start out with 20 and you're 5 minutes into the Q&A and you're down to 3,
That's true.
That might tell you
An
something.
indication that it's
you
time
might be able to wind it down.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's typically not a problem.
Okay.
people probably are more interested in the Q&A, aren't they?
Well, either that or there's no questions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it goes from one side to the other sometimes. Sometimes you have a bunch, sometimes you have one.
Yeah. So you can see.
Is this the screenshot that we're trying to get?
Well, we have a few ideas about. We need a USB extension cord to do this. We're kind of limited right now with what we can do
Okay.
here. But we want
Yeah, that's
something
fine.
that is a lot closer to you, framed better. When we have it, that background isn't all that horrible if we remove the
No, the
paint
background.
thing.
I'd say the background's great. I was just
So
because it's lopsided. I was just thinking that if it went
it should be at
right.
or right above your eye height and a lot closer.
But for tomorrow, I guess we're going to have to wait.
I may be able to, I don't know, online I can find a bunch of extension cords. I may be able to find something else tonight and bring it in tomorrow. A USB extension cord that will allow us to bring this.
Is it
out.
the HDMI or is it straight USB?
It's just a USB cord. So
Okay, I'll see if I have something. One of those.
Yeah.
Thingies.
I'll see if I can buy something. We'll get it up here. Audio.
How early can we bring this up? It's
An hour before if you want to.
That I can actually see myself?
Yes.
Okay, I'd say because I think one of the things that I want to do is have that up on my laptop also because I can just imagine my seeing or catching myself
Okay.
doing this. And if I have it on the screen, then I can talk to the computer instead of talking to the TV screen.
So another thing you'll have in terms of receiving questions is that people can type in their questions anytime during the hour-long broadcast of this. So you can start gathering questions that are coming in ahead of time.
Can you do a question now or not?
Yeah, I just did. And I set it up so it would come to me so we could see it on this laptop. So
How does it come in?
it comes in. It just says QA for who it's from, and then the subject line will say onlinemeetingnow.com.
Okay.
And if I click on that, then The actual question will be kind of at the bottom of the email. And I just typed in, this is a test.
Okay.
So that's where your question will appear.
All right. Seems simple enough.
So you should have, when you go back to your laptop, you should have a question that I typed in for you maybe 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
So if it's not there, then there was a problem. But it should be there because I just changed it for my email and it came in.
So just to recap, Jason, you're going to be bringing your laptop in.
Yeah, I'll bring mine.
We're going to switch back the question and answer email to his email address at wagnermeters.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just to make sure.
Right, it's just jspangler@wagnermeters.com.
Correct.
The one thing we have not done yet is Jason will need to be able to bring up the Hangout on his laptop so he can see himself there. We'll have the camera on his laptop, so it won't be like he's looking off to the side like he is now. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So we want the camera facing you and you able to see yourself talking
Right.
to them right in front of us.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense to me.
so that URL you copied and pasted is what he'll need to go to in his browser to see this. Does that make sense?
Okay,
The YouTube stream, the Hangout URL.
so when we get that, because that'll be unique each time.
Mhm.
So when we get that and set it up here, then we should email that same
Link to me.
link to you
Jason.
so you can set that up on your own
Yeah.
laptop. Okay.
He'll be able to click the link and it'll pop up just like
Now let
this.
me ask a stupid question. Why do we need that?
The only reason that this would be useful instead of the webcam on your laptop is
Bigger?
no, because if you could do all of this on your laptop, but you'd need to log into Stealth Seminar on your laptop, and Robin wouldn't be able to control it, I don't believe.
There's a country call.
So,
430.
well, actually, no. We could do the broadcast via one of Jason's accounts if we wanted to. But basically, it would be more involved in you setting it up and you learning what we just learned.
I'll leave that to you guys.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So you'll just see this, and yeah, this probably is slightly higher quality than the other webcam there. Okay. Should we start the broadcast?
Okay, so then let me ask another stupid question. If I can see it on my
Mhm.
if I can see it on my laptop, couldn't I utilize that on my laptop to push it to my laptop, or does it still have to be through? That way you wouldn't have to worry about USB cord,
Yeah.
or not,
If it was on your laptop, and we use this with your laptop, and you logged in
under my
under
account.
your account,
Then we could.
we could,
Okay.
and we wouldn't need an extension.
Alright.
So, I mean, if you want to do that, we could. We should probably run through that scenario, though, because I'm not sure I've thought through all the potential issues.
Oh, it sounds like you've thought through as many as I think I would. That's fine. I mean, if you guys want to log out and go back in under my account, that's fine. Is that what you're
Does that work
saying?
for you guys? Let's see. So, basically, what we were planning on doing was setting up another account hooked up to the YouTube thing for Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So we could do that same thing and have Robin log in under Jason's laptop instead of here, and it would all be the same, right?
Should, yeah.
Yeah. So should we do that? Should we set up that account now while Jason gets his laptop and
We can do that.
try
So
that?
Yeah,
should we go ahead and stop this broadcast?
I'll tell you what. You ready? Ready for this?
Sure.
jspangler@wagnermeters.com.
Mm-hmm.
And at least for now, my passcode's PROPPS.
PROPPS.
2014. I have a meeting at 2. I will go get my laptop right now and bring it over here. And then if you would just deliver it back to my office
Okay.
in one piece, preferably.
A minimal amount of added viruses. and all
Exactly.
that.
No pop-ups. Nothing like that.
Jeez, have I ever failed you before?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll be able, if I stop this broadcast, I don't think we're going to be able to do another test.
Oh, with this webinar?
Yeah, because I did it based on, I scheduled a webinar to start at 12:25 and it just kind of ran through. If we had like a 1 minute video or something, then we could do a test.
Can you show me the 1 minute, can you show me the webinar list on here? Because I thought they had a test webinar.
Oh, maybe there is.
Oh,
we should be able to go to it over here.
That makes sense.
I
could have been wrong about that.
Event list.
So there's a clone.
Maybe this here is how to create a successful. This is a copy of our actual webinar.
Yeah. Try this clone testing thing. We'll just have to go through each of these and see if any of them are short enough to make sense. Webinar content, maybe? Or scheduling, I don't know. Scheduling. 1 hour, 9 minutes.
1 hour, 9 minutes. I'm curious what this one at the bottom is. I don't know what this is. Zero minutes.
Huh.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, it seems like a decent test run. But what we need to really test is setting up this broadcast. Because if we can do that, you can copy whatever broadcast URL into the Still Seminar system. You could have some random hangout, and as long as you can copy that URL, you can tack it onto the end of your webinar like we already did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I might actually have another meeting here. Yeah, I do. Either way, you guys need to get that account set up, right?
For Robin, it would be good to get that set up sooner rather than later.